Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Brownstone. I'm Paulette. I'm a part of Brownstone Worldwide. You're in the Brownstone Worldwide studios. And listen, we are in for a treat for today's Lunch and Learn Brownstone's Best Business Review. We have the incomparable Kelsey Scott with us today. And I wanted to make sure that you sit back, relax. We're going to be hanging out today and learning more about what Kelsey Scott has been up to. So listen, first things first, here's what I'm going to do. You guys remember Kelsey Scott. Here she is right here. And I'm going to let you know what she's been up to. Are you ready? Two-time Emmy-nominated actress and screenwriter Kelsey Scott started her career in the theater scene of her hometown of Atlanta, which is actually the hometown of Brownstone Worldwide. She's best known for her role as Anne Northrup in the Oscar-winning 12 Years a Slave and her harrowing arc as Wes Gibbons' mother, Rose, on How to Get Away with Murder. Her television credits include Insecure, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, True Detective, Army Wives, and Lifetime TV's Courage to Soar, the Simone Biles story. Listen, Kelsey Scott is a 2019 Daytime Emmy nominee for her guest star role of Giants. And in 2017, she received a Primetime Emmy nomination for her leading role on Fear the Walking Dead: Passage. On stage, Kelsey originated the role of Anne Madison in Pearl Cleage's political romance, What I Learned in Paris. Listen, she's also a public speaker. She shared platforms with such accomplished individuals like Oprah Winfrey, Jesse Jackson, the late Maya Angelou, and departed political pioneer Shirley Chisholm. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I could not be more proud and excited to bring back to the corner the one and only Kelsey Scott. Welcome.
Hey
welcome.
there. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you for that.
Hey, that's your story.
You're making me feel special.
Okay. Listen, we are so excited to have you back in the corner. So for those of you all who don't know, listen, Kelsey has been a part of the Corner family for a very long time. And so we're excited to see your career and where you've gone and what you've been up to. So let's start at the beginning. You're from the ATL.
Yes, ma'am. Decatur, where is greater.
Okay. Listen. Oh my goodness. Listen, we have somebody else that's coming to the stage. You actually did his show years ago, Cullen's Corner. So we're going to bring Cullen up with us. And I don't know if he's going to be able to continue to hang with us. So we're just going to leave that there. And if he pops in, great. But we're going to continue this conversation and let's get this party started. So you're from Decatur, where it's greater.
That I am, yes.
So being from Decatur and starting this life as an actress, when did you decide that that was something that you wanted to do?
Oh, wow. The life of an actress or the life of the performer? Because I think performing was what called to me first. And that was really young. I was a child. I was hopping up on stages when I was 3. And like the bio says, I grew up in the theater scene of Atlanta. So the Alliance, Jumanji Productions, 7 in 1 Productions, Freddie Hendrix Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. Like I was all over the stages in Atlanta. And then when I was 11 or 12, that's when I kind of got into the television element of it. And I don't know that I actually, at that point, I definitely was not thinking about it as a career. I know there are a lot of child actors who, come up thinking that this is exactly what they want to do. And they know that, and they maybe move out to LA for that purpose. And I wasn't one of those kids. I was just having fun. And my mom, and I credit her, always said to me, as long as you're having fun, let's do this. But the second you're not having fun, then we're not going to do it anymore. And I never stopped having fun, so I'm still here. But I don't think it was until I was actually an adult that I decided this is what I'm going to do. Up until that point, I promise I was just chasing the fun of it.
I love it. I love that. And we're gonna circle back to that because it's one of the questions that we always like to ask folks who come on here when we're advice would be for our audience. And so you enjoy it. This is
Mhm.
fun for you. Now,
Yeah.
I got a question. So I'm getting ready
Yeah.
to sip a little of my tea. Hold on.
Well, I didn't know we were bringing tea. I could have brought some tea.
Listen, it just so happened it was sitting here, it was calling my name, and it said, "Girl, ask her." You were in Atlanta. You were in the Hollywood of the South,
Mhm.
and you made it clearly. Some of your work is done
In
in
Atlanta.
LA, in California,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yes.
So,
Mhm.
so how did you make the decision to make that trek to California? When was that decision made?
Well, when I was in Atlanta, it wasn't the Hollywood of the South.
Ah,
I was there before that big boom. When I was there, the focus had been primarily music, and that was the burgeoning industry for Atlanta. So it wasn't until I left, and then
uh-huh.
wait a second, I was just there.
Okay, right, right.
So I felt that I felt some kind of way
Okay.
as the industry grew in my hometown, and I had
Mhm.
moved away for the purpose of exploring it professionally. So um, yeah, I didn't intentionally walk away from the opportunities in Atlanta. They weren't there when I
They
was
weren't
living there.
there.
So now it's great when I get to go home and work because then I
Mhm.
get to see family and friends, and
Okay.
so I get to have the best of both worlds now. But I think I probably would have stayed closer to home if I
Mhm.
felt at that time that I could have built a career then.
I see. I see. And so, if the opportunity presented itself and they said, "Hey, we're going to be doing an entire television series here," and you would pack the bags, do you think, or would you just say, "You know what, y'all gonna put me up until this is over, and then I'm going back home"?
Well, life is different now. So now I'm
Mhm.
married and I have a bonus son. And so it's not just like Kelsey, pick up and do what you want to do. So
Got
at
it.
this point in my life, my home base is definitely Los Angeles. So I would
Right.
certainly do a series. I certainly do a movie, but yes, then I'd have to come back.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. That's right. You got married. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did see the photos and the images, and I thought, wow, time is really flying. And
Hmm.
so you're a bonus mom right now, and I know that that can be challenging. So here's another question. So I'm just throwing it out because, like I said, we're at the kitchen table, we're chilling, we're talking, right?
Trying to get that earring, not to like blind everybody. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, fabulous. At least you have on a pair. Let's talk about that. So I'm curious.
Hmm.
You are a part of this industry where when you're working,
Yes,
right? And it can be hours upon hours. So it's not really a 9 to 5,
not at all.
right? When you're doing your thing and you're doing the seasons and all of that. How how does that impact your family time and the times that you have with your husband and your family and those kinds of things and your friends? How do you balance all of that? Because it has been, even with what we do here in the Brownstone, it
Mhm.
takes up a lot, 12, 13 hours at any given time with filming
Mhm.
and shooting and podcasts and so forth and making sure all of your personalities are together. So how do you do it?
It's trial by fire.
Right.
You every single day you make a decision, and every single day you set the priorities, and then it's a partnership. I'm not in it alone. I'm not doing it alone. So it's decision by committee, and then
Mhm.
also something that I probably did not do earlier in life, and maybe that's the way it is. But I wish I had done earlier in life is to set boundaries. For
Mm.
example, uh, at early in the career, somebody says, "Okay, this is the time of the day of the audition," and you say, "All right, let me move mountains, let me take off of the day job, let me figure out what it is so I can make that audition."
Mhm.
Now I say I have to pick up my son from school.
Yeah.
So what other time can I be there? Because I
Right.
can't be there at that time
I see.
because what's most important is my family.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's part of the balancing act. Part of it is making sure that you are making holistically sound decisions,
Got it.
not just career focused,
Mhm.
because your whole life is not your career.
Ah, love that. Did you guys hear what she said? If you listen over there next door, your whole life is not your career.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to truly understand. And that's good to hear. So I'm curious because I got questions. So you did.
I got answers. Maybe we'll see.
You do. This is all about what you did because I remember following you and when you did Cullen's Corner so long ago, my goodness, we were just talking about it in the virtual green room about how long ago it's been since you did the show. 12 Years a Slave hadn't even come out yet. They were just starting to promote it, and you all had wrapped filming when you came on the show. And so what was that experience like, telling that story, which is someone else's story? How did that feel, getting into that role and then realizing that when you put that beautiful dress on and you know, went to the event of the season, that you all had won as a group and then you were nominated yourself? What was that experience like? And did you see yourself being a part of something so big even before it became what it is today?
Well, that's 20 questions. I
like to get it out.
I see. I'll start with the first one. What was it like? Which is big, and I'll try to encapsulate it. But we knew we were making something special. We knew by the script. We knew by the artists who had signed on. We knew by the passion of the people in charge. Like, you can tell when something is special. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to resonate with people. Right. Just because you know it's special doesn't mean it'll be seen through that same vantage point for everybody that you put it out there for. So that was fortunate. It was fortunate that so many people latched onto it emotionally, understood the need to make it. And there will be people who disagree, who will feel like we didn't need to tell that story. We don't need to hear it again. You know, and everybody has their piece. But I think on a relatively universal level, the artistry of it, the telling this untold story, because we have so many narratives from that time in our history, but everybody's an individual. I mean, all those narratives are snowflakes. There's not one that's the same. This one, I think, had some compelling elements that obviously drew the filmmakers to it, and they poured all of that into the production. So I contend that the greatest accomplishment of the film, honestly, was not the Oscar. As far as I'm concerned, its greatest accomplishment was its ability to start conversations. Who don't really talk about that, or had not spoken about it. People of the same background, people of different backgrounds. I mean, for every critic that had something to say, somebody said something back.
Absolutely.
Last time we were having that kind of robust conversation about echoes of that era. So I am eternally grateful for the recognition that we received from our peers in the industry. And I am even more grateful that folks just started talking.
Yes. And we did. Boy, did we ever.
I'm sure.
It was such a compelling story to actually read. I actually read it in high school. And
that's wonderful. I was completely unfamiliar with the story.
Yeah. And I always wondered what he looked like, and now there's images of him coming out since then, right? And so I always wondered what it was like in that time. And so to see it be brought to life in such a way was truly, it was awe, and it was such an awe to actually see, and and I felt it, and the emotion was there, right? Even at the end, when the family was getting together for that last time after the 12 years, and everyone's hugging, and I can only imagine what that was like for so many, you know. So yeah, that was absolutely amazing. And so after that, and the conversations got started, we got busy. So
well, I tried. That's what we did.
And you did. You really, really did. So not long after that, well, a couple of years after that, and you stayed busy in between that time, I'm sure. So you've done, let's see, NCIS.
Yes.
You've done, hold on just a minute, because I've seen you. I'm like, oh, that's Kelsey. Hey, girl,
I try to pop up on your screen. I try my best.
Yes, and you did Grey's Anatomy. Listen, Courage to Soar, just True Detective. So, do you get the calls for the role? Is there like a newspaper that you look through? Does your agent call you and say, listen, we got the Simone Biles story? How does that work?
Each one is different. Sometimes most times it's auditioning. I mean, 90, I'm just pulling a figure, 90%. I don't know if that's the percentage. It's probably like 97% of actors audition for each role they get. In fact, some of the A-listers are still asked to audition for some roles, and that's a whole other discussion about the equity or the lack of equity there. But that's not the question we're answering. But in general, we're all just auditioning. Now it's more self-tape. Before it was more going into the room. So we're doing more of setting up studios in our homes and then taping it and sending it in. So sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's an offer. Sometimes they reach out to my representation and say, we have this role. We've seen her work. We'd really like for her to do it. Sometimes it's a producer that I've worked with before, and that relationship worked out so well that they go on to do something else and want to pull me in to be a part of it. So it kind of depends. The way you get into a project differs project to project, but in general, you just putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there and hoping that somebody connects with how it is that you approach the role.
Awesome. And let's talk about that, putting yourself out there. Networking. Is it who you know? Is it what you know? Is it, do you believe that it is a culmination of all of the things? Do you have to put the pretty people clothes on and go and hobnob a little bit? Right? I mean, I got questions. I
know. And sometimes the answer is yes. It's so not a one answer, one technique, one methodology. If it's a campaign season for awards, it helps to show up. It helps to show up at events. People want to connect with you personally because they've already seen the work, or maybe they haven't seen the work. Maybe they haven't seen the work and they run into you at a function and you have a conversation and you're interesting enough. They're like, you know what, let me go see this other thing. And then maybe they make their decision about whether or not they check your name on the ballot. So it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be in the room. Is it necessary? I don't know that that is an edict. Because there's so much time about people who say, you know what, I'm an actor. I'm not a politician.
Right.
But if it is political. So, it's hard to answer that question for everybody. In general, networking is good. But I think in the beginning of my career, I looked at it like that. I think I looked at it in a corporate fashion. The idea of networking, I had business cards. I was an actor and I had business cards. What am I doing? But nowadays, much like my priorities have changed after getting married and becoming a bonus mom, I am latching on to my authenticity in a way that is healthy and productive for me, for my spirit. So I don't want to network with you.
I see.
But I'll talk to you.
I like
and it. I will nurture our relationship. I like to hike. People are like, you want to do lunch? No, but I'll take you hiking. Let's go hiking. Because first of all, I'm always eating. But and when you're on a hike, the airs, they just kind of drop away. It's like we huffing and puffing trying to get up this mountain. Nobody has time to be cute. There's no makeup. It's not, what am I going to order? Who's going to pick up the tab? Who has time for that? Who has time for that? Like because the idea of networking is honestly seeing whether or not you want to spend more time with somebody in a business capacity. And I think you get to know people. That's a relationship. And relationships, I think, are better when they're natural, when they're organic. So if I meet somebody at a function and the conversation is going well and I'd like to continue it, then I'll meet you at Caballero Canyon. or Runyon Canyon or Fryman Canyon. And
Yeah.
then let's see whether or not we really do have a vibe and
Right.
want to take this into a professional capacity. So yes, it's networking, but for me, really, it's forming professional relationships that
Love
make sense.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love that. Love it. Love it. And I love to hear that because I think in any capacity, even when it's business, is really what it is. But if
Mhm.
you're, no matter what it is, whether it's a long-term relationship, if it's a marriage, if it's a, whatever of convenience or,
Of convenience. Did you say a marriage of convenience?
yeah, I mean, and I'm not talking about marriage per se, right?
Okay, gotcha. I was like, okay, we're doing the tea sip for real. Okay.
Listen, hold up. Branding over here. Hold up. Wait.
Okay.
Listen. So the reason why I said it like that is because let's be real. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're building business relationships, I kind of have to like you a little bit. Mm-hmm. So saying it's a marriage of convenience, when I'm talking about, is really about people learning how to like each other so that they can both benefit.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yeah. And sometimes those relationships turn into friendships. My husband tells me I collect people. It's like, but if I dig you, if I really like spending time with you,
I
mean, we might never work together.
Yeah.
But we might play Scrabble because I love Scrabble.
I love
it. And we have levels of friendship. Everybody doesn't have to be in your tight circle. But I also think that, again, at this point in my life, I'm okay with accepting more people into my life as long as it's honest.
I love that.
So
I love it. That's really, really good. Yes, you are from Decatur. I can tell. Listen, I haven't met a person yet that is not 100% real from DeKalb County. So listen, unless
I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. It's really good. So let's talk about how to get away with murder.
Sure.
First of all, bravo.
Oh, okay.
I love your role. And what has that been like? Because my God, you're working with Viola, you're working with all of these other amazing artists and an entire crew and team of people. And what has that been like for you? And how are you embracing that experience? Because ultimately that's what these are.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it was a beautiful experience. I mean, you hit right on it. The opportunity to work with Viola.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate that. Yeah. She's the type of actor who forces you to be on point, to show up, even in a way that you probably did not prepare to.
Yeah.
I mean, she's across from you as a scene partner, and what she gives is tangible. And she's nice. she's a nice person. Like she's good people. And so that means that, like, when cut is called, you're not racing to be on the other side of set because the only relationship was that which was on screen. And she's a generous scene partner. And I would say just a generous person off screen. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed, first of all, in terms of the character.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity to really develop one, because if you're doing a project and you're a series regular, you have this breadth of time to dig into the character, kind of in the way that you do theater. It's one of the things that appeals to me about theater, is that even though you're saying the same words every night, you can get something different out of it every time.
Absolutely.
Find something different every time. And so when you get a chance to play a character on screen for more than one episode, then same thing, you get a chance to find more in them, do more with them. So that in and of itself was enjoyable, a challenge. I mean, she was also Haitian, so there was the accent part of things. There's another culture, learning all of that. So it was a pretty deep dive for the character in general. So having the opportunity to share that journey with an actress of Viola's character and stature was epic.
I love it. I love that. And it's I'm excited for you. That is just,
Yeah.
just all of these experiences. So listen, it's a couple of other questions that I definitely want to ask you. But here's one for Cullen. He's sending me messages and it's like, oh, slow down. Listen. So one of the questions, how do you go about selecting the roles that you play? Right. So like if someone sends you a role and you're looking at it, you're like, you know what, that's just not my energy. That's just not my vibe. Or you say, you know what, I need a check. So what's the balance? Like, how do you decide for yourself?
Yeah, that's kind of part of the process.
Yeah.
And again, it's a luxury that I have at this stage in my career because, at some point, all of us just need the check. And that can happen early and later because careers, they fluctuate. They're not, it's not this one line thing. So depending on where you are in your life, in your career, you might have to take everything that comes across your desk. At the moment, and I say at the moment, because you never know, anything can change. At the moment, I can look at something and say, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I can get into that. I can feel that. And there are others where I don't want to ignore that part of my gut and make a different decision. But also, I also have the luxury of having more than one artistic contribution. So I'm an actress, but I'm also a writer. So if I'm not on camera, I'm writing something for somebody else to be on camera. And so I can still not only feed the artistry, but feed the family, because there's a different method, or there's a different avenue that I can take. I also don't stick only to on screen. I'm a theater baby. Not only am I a theater baby, I'm a musical theater baby.
Yeah.
So you don't see me on screen for a while. It might be because I'm doing a show somewhere. I mean, this last year was the first time in my entire career that I did Shakespeare, and I did in a title role. I did Antony and Cleopatra for the Southern Shakespeare Company. And I was, a couple of things about that. First, I was petrified because I always wanted to do Shakespeare, but I had not. And so I kind of thought, I might have waited a bit too long to kind of jump into this thing that people spend years and degrees perfecting and working on and crafting. And so I almost didn't do it because this was one of those situations where it was an offer and they wanted me to step into the role of Cleopatra. And I was like, first of all, I've never done Shakespeare. So you want me to jump into, you just want me to go all in. Like, we're not going to do any baby steps. We're not going to dip our toe in the water. You just want to run from zero to Cleopatra. Oh, okay. And I almost didn't do it. And, I am so thankful for my husband in so many ways. But one of the ways in which he is just consistent is reminding me what it is that I have to offer. And he now is a Shakespeare aficionado. So he knows, that's what he lives in. And so then we work together. Like, that was absolutely a joint endeavor where we were going through the text and dissecting it and figuring out the moments and the beats and the pentameter and figuring out where she sits and where she is and where to find the humor and where. So long before I stepped into a rehearsal with the director, my husband and I had been working on it for months. All that was to say, sometimes I'm doing something on a stage somewhere. Sometimes I'm singing somewhere. I do voiceover work. So I guess the lesson there is, if you can figure out ways to diversify your offering, then if one avenue is slow, another avenue might be moving.
Absolutely.
And you're still being creative. It's still your career. You're still acting in some sort of way, or writing. And now in my career, also producing. So you just stay in the game. And then that gives you the luxury to say, you know what, that project is not for me.
I love that.
I don't have to take it because I'm hungry. And then you can only do things that, or you can you can try to only do things that call to you in a way that feeds the artist.
That's good. That's really, really good. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all of the people. Yeah, we're not going down that. Don't go down that rabbit hole, Paulette. You know, the folks that I know that's like, girl, I gotta get this check. Listen, my bills are due, da da da. And you end up, but yeah,
and you know what? And here's the thing. I feel like most of us have been there, so there's no judgment for those people. Like sometimes they want the rent every month. I think that's rude, but they want
right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think as long as you don't compromise yourself,
yeah,
it's not always going to be Shakespeare, but if you can find, not only if you can find something redeeming in the project, but also if you can find a way to elevate the project. Because I think as both a performer and a writer, I have seen some scripts get made and I don't understand why. I'm like, listen, you've seen it. Come on, you've watched something and you're like, why did they say that? Why did they do that? No, but then there'll be somebody in that project that by what they give, somehow that line, which on paper just doesn't make sense, they made it make sense. They put in something that made it work. So the project is not always going to be stellar.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you cannot be stellar.
Right.
Elevate what you're working on. And then maybe the next project, is more along the lines of what you want to see yourself growing and doing.
I love that. And it really does come down to your passion. And yeah, you're right. There's no judgment or anything over here. Because as you were talking about, I'm thinking, Lord, the things that because being from the entertainment industry myself, when the lights went off, I had to figure out what the next steps were. Was I going to go wait a table after singing full time? Was I did they see me in the music video? And it happened often. I'm working at IHOP, and they're like, "That's that girl from Arrested Development. What is she doing?" Yeah, I gotta eat. My kids have to eat. So absolutely, I 100% get it. So listen, here's another thing, and we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, but we're gonna be gentle about it. Shall we?
Okay, gentle rabbit. Okay.
So, as a Black woman, let's go here.
Okay.
Pay disparities, discrimination, all of the things that come with being a Black woman on the screen, a woman of color on the screen, and behind the screen, and on doing voice work and so forth. Have you found for you, because I'm learning, everybody, like Vivica Fox said, I'm good, her good may not, you know what I mean? And I totally understood what she meant, right? Because we forget she got a rap sheet yay long. She's not new to the game. She's been around, right? And she's done things just like you, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and she's consistently moving and doing other things. So have you found yourself to be in a position where you believe, or that you've seen, not believe, or I'm trying to be gentle with this. Let me just go ahead and just spit it out. Have you ever felt like you've had to fight for your pay?
Always. Always.
Okay.
And that, yeah, always. We're consistently undervalued.
Okay.
But that's not just in this industry.
You are absolutely
that is our gender.
Yeah.
That is our race. Yeah, absolutely. You have to fight for it. And that, again, at this point in my life, is another thing that I'm trying to be audacious about. I liken it to not being, I don't know if you're familiar with Oliver Twist. Well, it's just Oliver when it's the musical. But goes up, he says, "Please, sir, I want some more." You're like, "More?"
Yes.
you
Oh,
know, you know. And so
yeah.
when you're, you know what, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say when you're young in the game, but I won't put that on everybody because everybody's
Mhm,
journey is different. When I was young in the game,
mhm, mhm.
I was asking, I was asking, I was asking for permission. I was
Mm,
disproportionately, um, I don't want to say disproportionately grateful. I, I didn't understand that you declare your worth.
mm.
You
Come on.
because if you depend on all the people who have to sign off on you
Yeah.
to also have the rubber stamp of your worth,
Mm,
cannot live and work in this industry
yeah.
because you're always worthy of it. And I
Yeah.
and I'm and I am putting in that the assumption that you have put in the work and have worked on your craft and you come
Yeah.
to the table prepared.
Yeah.
So, but you could not get the role because of your height. You
Mm,
know,
right. Right.
there's so many small elements that have nothing to do with the work that you brought to the table.
Okay.
So if you let that "no, I didn't get this role" be a barometer for your worth,
Mm,
it's going to be really tough to sustain. And
mm.
consistency is your superpower here. You
Okay.
stay at that party long enough and
Mhm.
you will get to dance. But you
Mm,
won't let somebody tell you you can't dance just because ain't nobody asked you out on the floor.
you better
And
say.
so I just I just at this point in my life, I am not afraid to ask for more money. Now you
It.
might tell me no, but you
Yeah.
were never gonna offer me more if I accepted scale. You were never gonna be like, "I know
Ooh,
you're gonna accept scale, but let me you know what, girl, let me give you a little bit more." That's not
right.
a
It's
conversation
not
that happens.
happening.
So, you know,
Yeah.
and there's a time and you stop discounting yourself. There's
Yeah.
this t-shirt that says "Charge your worth and then add
Mm,
tax." Yes, ma'am.
mm. Come
Yes,
on.
I
Yes.
just and again, and it's people want to paint it, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's even take race out of it.
Mhm,
People want to paint it as, being difficult or having the audacity to
mhm.
question something that's put on the table. Like just because you served it doesn't mean I have to eat it.
Eat. Come on.
So,
Ooh.
just
Mm.
you're catching me at a time in my life
Phew.
where
Where my fan at? Hold on.
I just I'm just seeing things differently,
I
and
love that.
things includes me. I'm seeing me
Yes.
differently,
Yes.
and I mean, there would be a day, a time where there would be an event, and I
Mhm.
would sweat over what I'm gonna wear,
Mm.
and oh my gosh, did I, am I was never caught up in kind of like the designer label thing, but I would worry whether or not my outfit was appropriate
Mhm,
or
mhm.
whether or not it was going to be in line with what other people wore.
Yeah.
As long as I'm wearing something along, it says cocktail. I got cocktail dresses.
Right. Right.
And at the
Right.
end of the day, the dress don't wear me. I wear the dress.
That part.
And so
Woo.
I'm just kind of tired of other people thinking
Mhm.
they have the right to define what my life should be.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I think the original question was, about
Okay.
this period, and do you have to fight for it? You don't
Yeah.
have, you do, and it's not about money.
Mm.
It's about money, but it's not about money.
I got it.
It's about worth. It's about
That's
somebody telling you what you're worth. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't feel like you get those keys.
Right. Come
I don't feel like
on.
that's your door. I let you know. You knock, and
Mm.
I'll let you know if you can come in.
Come through. Yes. Wait a minute. Listen, that deserves the Brownstone fan because you let us have it right there. And that is just an amazing analogy because like I said, I could go down that road. We know what we've been seeing in the news about, folks talking about the disparity in pay and so forth. And ultimately, to what you're saying, it is absolutely true. And I love the fact that you're telling the truth, and it really comes down to who you are
Mm-hmm.
and what you believe you are and who you believe you are, and standing on that. And like Ti son said, stand on business with that, right? And
That
so it
part.
sounds like you've done that. That is
I'm trying, and let me say this too.
yeah.
I'm trying to be consistent in that because it's easy to fall back
Mm.
on old behavior. It
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
easy to walk into a room and hope you're good enough.
Mm.
Like that those feelings, they you don't just get to a point in your life and flip a switch and then you're able to do that all day every day.
Yeah.
So I am a work in progress.
Mm.
Um, and I hope I always am because I feel like we shouldn't be stationary. I think complacency is death before you.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
you should always want something more. You should always be trying to be better, not for them, for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you can give them some of it, but it's
Yeah.
not for them. It's
I
for
love
you.
that.
And
Absolutely.
that's a lesson that has been years in the making.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We're gonna leave it at that. Because listen, yes, I understand. It's been in the making, period. And I love that for you.
thank you.
This is such I could sit here for a little while longer, but I know all we have are just a few more minutes. So I'm going to ask this question. One of the things that we always like to ask each one of our guests when they come to the Brownstone and they come and they hang out with us is this: what is the good, the bad, and the ugly of what business you're in? And what are the hints and insights to what you would offer someone who is new to the game? Let's start there.
Mm. Wow, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Uh, the good is it's fun.
Mm,
It really is fun.
okay.
Um, I find it fun. that's
Okay.
what called me to it. It's you get to play make believe for a living.
I love that. I
You
love
know,
that. Hmm.
yeah, you get to be people outside of your sphere of knowledge.
Hmm.
You get to discover them and breathe life into them
Hmm.
and share them with other people. So it's fun. That's the good.
I love that.
Um, the bad. I guess the bad is that hmm, the bad is that sometimes the no's penetrate
Mm,
because there are a lot of them,
mm,
and you're only human. And a
yeah.
lot of them roll off your back, and a
Yeah.
lot of them you can take in stride, and a lot of them
Hmm.
you can use as stepping stones to the
Right.
next thing.
Right.
But sometimes some get through,
Hmm.
and you take it to heart instead of to business, and
Yeah.
um, and so that's difficult.
Mm,
Um, the ugly is when those no's penetrate
mhm.
or when people misbehave because
Mm,
they can control whether or not that particular paycheck is yours.
wow.
Um, you could let it tell you who you are,
Mm, okay.
and that's always a lie.
Mm,
You
wow.
you have the truth, and so
Yeah.
it takes a lot to access that, to remember that, to honor that.
That's good.
So insights. Oh my gosh, for somebody new in the game. Well, I'll go back to the good. Don't forget to have fun.
I love that.
Honestly, if you can do anything else, if you could be happy
Yeah.
doing anything else, I might
Hmm.
recommend anything else
Yeah.
because this is a, first of all, it's a marathon. It's tough. There's so much that tries to eat away at you.
Yeah.
But there's some of us who, honestly, this is like such a source of joy that we can't put it down. So if you can't put it down, don't put it down. So ask yourself that question honestly, whether or not you can go the distance with this, or whether or not you just really want to go to that gifting suite, or you really just want to wear that dress.
Okay, I got you. Gotcha. Yeah,
that's different. A career and fame are different. So just ask yourself the hard questions. And tips, I think, and then I think it's just consistency. There will be people who will experience a kind of 0 to 100 moment, and hopefully they will not only appreciate that, but they will capitalize that in a way that will give them consistency. But for those who take the journeyman's route, which most of us do, then just stay in it. Figure out what you need to be healthy, and to keep the fun alive, and to support yourself in a way that you both your body and your spirit and your mind, find your tribe, find your circle, find your support system, and then stay in it. Because if you stay in it, there is something in there for you. What that looks like is different for every person, but you got to stay. You got to stay. So that's what I got. I hope
that's what you got. That was good. That was so good. And thank you for that, because these tidbits are going to really help somebody that's looking to get into this industry, and not just this industry, but any business or any career or lifestyle. So I believe that anyone will be able to get something from it. So let's talk about something else that I know has happened recently and has ended, and that was the actors' strike. What was that like?
What was the strike like?
I need to know. I got, because I know a couple of people that you all were out there, and I saw the pictures, and I know that there were so many different reasons why you all were out there, and the big one was pay. The other, I understand, had something to do with your image and your likeness being used without you being there. And so we have this monster in the room called AI. That can change the game, and I've seen it already. We saw it in what was that? The movie that just came out. What was it? Black Panther 2. We saw that where his image was literally used and he wasn't there. So I've seen several others where they've been used in commercials, where I'm sure, and these are online things, right? So online commercials with The Rock and so many other people, but we know that they probably didn't authorize it, and their images are being utilized. And you all need to be paid for your image and your likeness, period, point blank. That's number one. So you all deserve your fair shake. So what was that like? And I know you're glad it's over.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah. I mean, the objective is never to not work. What it was like was, so there are two sides of it.
Okay.
Standing up for yourself is always empowering. It is never simple.
Okay.
It is never easy. And it will incur some form of quote unquote casualty. But having a voice is always better than being silenced. So in this situation, there was an attempt to negotiate a deal that did not require a work stoppage, and that was unsuccessful. And so we united our voices. So what was that like? That was necessary. As for AI, I think AI is, I don't want to vilify AI, because it's not, the technology is not the issue. It's what's done with it. As long as with great power comes great responsibility. As long as you use it well, wisely, and fairly, I don't have an issue with it. It's when it's when its use is used to subtract jobs
Mm,
or to deny pay
mm,
or to steal someone's likeness without compensation. So
yeah,
those are the bad things about it.
right.
So the effort here was for everybody to come to the table and decide how we can responsibly use it, how it
Right.
can be used, and the people who source it, the
Mhm,
actors, be
mhm,
compensated for that work.
okay.
So it's not about, the boogeyman. It's
Mm,
just about people sitting down and being reasonable.
yeah, right. And you all held your ground. You
We did.
did.
We
And
did.
bravo to all of you for
Thank you.
standing up for what you believe in. It was truly a triumph to see. And again, you and others that I know personally who were impacted, I saw so many people saying that they were losing homes or that, they were losing money, which I'm sure of course you did. But it's worth it. And prayerfully it was a win for both sides,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
think so. I mean,
that's
everybody
good.
can have an opinion, but
Right.
what's important now is that we are back to work, and hopefully things will. I mean, they are slowly revving up. We all of
Good.
this kind of finished up right before the holidays, which is generally a slow down time for the industry, but we're in it now. It's
Yeah.
2024. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Let's
Amen
get it.
to that. Absolutely. And so with that, when we're talking about let's get it, what can we expect from Kelsey Scott this year?
Oh gosh. Well, again, we've been a little down.
Mhm. Right.
So, but I did have some things that I had shot before the strike. So, one came out in December. It was actually a Christmas film, which I've always wanted to do because
That's
I got to do
awesome.
my singing on screen. So,
Okay.
that was I think you can actually still find it on Amazon Prime. It's called "You'll
Okay.
Smile a Lot," and
Okay.
it was another situation where I'd worked with a producer before, and we had it was a great working relationship that turned
Mhm.
into a wonderful friendship and then an invitation to be a part of the project. And I had a wonderful
Wonderful.
time doing it. Amazing cast, amazing group of creatives. So,
Okay.
um, and then coming up, I have the movie Kemba, which it actually has a very long history, which might be a whole other interview at some point.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, sure, we'll do that. We'll do that when it
Okay.
comes out. But
Okay.
that should, I believe, the release is March. Don't quote me on that. But
Okay.
that's the next thing coming up on the screen. And then
Mhm.
I have things happening behind the camera again as a writer. So I have my own slate of projects in development, which
I love it.
include a television show, which include two feature films. And if all things go well at the moment, then I'll be actually on a stage very very soon. And
Excellent.
no, I can't say that on camera, but I'll be on a stage very soon. I'll let you know if that's happening. Singing,
Please
singing
do.
and dancing again. So
Please do.
yeah, we're just in it. We're in it, and again, as many different places as I can farm out my artistry, I shall.
That is amazing. And I'm so proud of you
Thank you.
for standing up for what you believe in and understanding and growing your craft. So that is to be commended for sure. And I'm excited to see what else Kelsey Scott has for 2024 and beyond. You guys, listen, this is where you can find Kelsey Scott on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Ms. Kelsey Scott, spelled just like that. Go ahead and screenshot it if you need to. Go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to give it to you 1, 2, and 3. And head on over to kelseyscott.com to get more information and updates on what Ms. Kelsey Scott has been up to and what's coming down the pipe for her. All right, you guys, I am honored to be in your presence today. It has
Oh,
been
stop.
girl, 'cause you listen. And so Cullen says, "Love you, sis." So he's into
Hey, Pratt.
hey frat. So y'all, these deltas and these Qs, listen. So, I'm any last words for our audience here in the Brownstone?
Oh gosh, no pressure. Um, I often, when people say, "What's your best piece of advice?" I repeat something that my mother told me. I can't recall how many times growing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the industry, it was just about life in general. And she always used to tell me, never take a no from someone not empowered to give you a yes in the first place.
Come on.
So I'll leave that because my
Yeah.
mom knows best.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Yes, there you go.
I got the Brownstone fan again for that.
The Brownstone fan. Listen, because that was it. I love it. Kelsey Scott, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for us and hang out just a few more minutes after we end the broadcast. Listen, we appreciate you for coming to hang out with us here in the Brownstone. Listen, folks, check us out at brownstoneworldwide.com for news, information, politics, lifestyle, you name it. We've got it. Brownstone Living Magazine every single month. And of course, Cityscape Radio, where you can check out those podcasts and some of the latest tunes from yesterday, today, and beyond. Listen, don't forget, you've also got an opportunity to be a part of the Founders Circle here in the Brownstone. Head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com to get access before membership gets filled really, really quick. Okay. All right, you guys, that's all we have for today. Once again, I want to thank Kelsey Scott for coming to hang out with us here in the Brownstone. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you on the next edition of the Lunch and Learn Hour, Brownstone's Best Business Review. We'll see you around.